students. I am Dr. Vidhya Sathish, Department of Computer Science with Data Science. So, I am going to take the concept of data structures. Let me see about the concept of data structures now. So, what is the data structure here? So, data structure is a very important concept as per the software industry is concerned, because the data structure, it gives an objective to design the application. What application we need? So, data structure, it define the idea we can define our own concept. Okay. So, based on that, so data structure plays a vital role in a software industry. And generally we need to know about what is a data mean. So, data mean is been called as a collection of facts. So, what is a fact? So, what is a real numbers, real figures? Okay. So, it's been called as a data, and generally we have the habit of calling the datas. So, we should not mention as a datas. So only the term data is the exact word to define it. Okay. So, here as per the data is concerned, the data has been known to be the collection of facts. So, here information is a group of data that are being collectively carrying the logical meaning. Here the data structure has been played a vital role in a software industry. So, as I have said in a previous slide, and based on this, these three facts. So, one is the data organization, and next is a data management, and third is a storage format. So, the data organization, what is a data organization mean? So, data means we need to organize all sort of data, that is from lower level to higher level. We need to organize it and manage the data in an efficient mode through the storage format. So, the data organization, data management and storage format, it is a very important concept as per the data structure is being defined. For best example of this concept is, we can take the real time application has been Google Map. Okay. So, if you want to reach the destination from your source place, so the Google Map is the best example for the data structure, because it gives an idea where to reach, how to reach, what is the time it may takes, and moreover it has been assigned with the different routes, and exact route, the short route has been consigned here, right. So, similarly, so the data structure, it gives an idea to organize, manage and store the values, exact values whatever we needed. So, here different types of concept of data structures being going to discuss now, and initially has been concerned with the primitive and non-primitive classification. Let us see about the data structures being concerned with the primitive. So, how the data will be stored? The data, the phase of data, it has been defined with the different data types. So, data type is nothing but you have been storing the value. Okay. So, what type of values you are going to store, that we need to place it. Okay. So, we need to define the identity, data type which is like a identity. Okay. Let me think like this. Okay. So, with the identity card only you can able to enter into the organization and wherever the working place or student, right. So, ID card is a very important. So, data type also plays the same here. So, data type has been concerned. So, whatever the values you are going to represent, so which is like a ID card. Okay. If you want to store the characters, char data type will be used. If you want to represent the numbers, the numeric data type will be used. If you want to store the logical values, the boolean data type will be used. In case if you want to store the numbers, which is like in the form of byte, short, int, long, so the integral data types, integer data types will be used. In case of if you want to represent the real numbers, which, if you want to save, which is like a decimal values, the float, okay. So, here will be used, or here if you want to save the large numbers, okay, the float or double will be used. Yes. So, here been represent the different primitive data types here. And moreover, non-primitive data type has been concerned with again two classifications, which is like a linear and non-linear. So, here the linear means here the arrangement of items will be in a sequential order, right. So, here how you have been arranging of books, okay, how you have been standing in the queue, okay, how the elements. So based on this real time applications, here the data structures is being framed, which is similar to the concept of the arrays. Arrays means nothing but you have been storing the value, how the values will be, the same set of values will be stored in a sequential manner. Here the non-linear data structure has been concerned with the trees and graphs. So as the name itself determines, it has been concerned with the non-linear, okay, it is just not in a sequential pattern. Here the data type. Let me see about what is a data type. So as I have said earlier, the data type, it represents or tells the compiler or interpreter how the programmer intends to use the data. And generally data type, it provides a set of values from the expressions which is used to store the values, right. So in order to process the data, we need to define the data type and the operation to be performed on the data. And the data type may characterized in the form of set of values, data representation, okay, and moreover the set of operations which can be applied uniformly to all these values. And primitive data structure, which is the kind of data structure that stores the data of only one type. Suppose in case of you have been storing the integer or the numbers, the int data type is being used. If you want to store the text, the char data type will be used. Suppose if you want to store the real numbers, which is huge numbers of float, okay, the float will be used, okay. So this is how the different data types is being used. Whereas in the non-primitive, it is a type of data structure which can use to store the data of more than one type. And moreover, the main concept of the non-primitive data structure, so it has been created by the programmer instead of it not defined by the programming language, and moreover it has been called as a reference variables or the object references, since it may refer the memory locations which is used to store the data. And this slide has been discussed about the differentiation between the data type and data structures. So here we will be discuss the very important points. So all the points are very important, and specifically I will give the definition. So what is the concept of data type? So as I have said earlier, it can hold the values or not the data. Whereas in case of data structures has been focused on the algorithms. Okay. So based on algorithms, you can store the objects, you can able to consign the data, or you can able to consign the operations. Okay. So these are the main difference of data type and data structures. And moreover here, the implementation through the data type is, it will be represented in the form of abstract, whereas in the data structure, implementation through data structure will be assigned as a concrete, because it may focus with the algorithms, how to define the data structure. So set of algorithms is being supported which is used to consign the programming structure. And next will be move on to the linear data structure. What does a linear data structure mean? So as I have said earlier, the linear data structure, the concept of linear data structure will be assigned in a sequential order, which is a focus on the concept of array, linked list, stack and queue. So here the best example of the stack has been concerned with the arrangement of books. So whatever the books has been placed will be arranged one by one, right? So the same real time application will be focused or impact in the concept of data structure also. Yes, the data structure, the stack data structure has been focused with the concept of last in first out. Whatever the insertion has been happens is only at the one end. Okay, this is a simple diagram which explains about how the insertion of the stack has been assigned, and moreover it focuses on the concept of LIFO, that is last in first out. Okay. So last in means, so whatever the insertion at the first element of the insertion is always happens at the top of the stack only. The insertion of the last element also will be happens at the only one end, that is top of the stack only. Okay. So you have been inserting the first element, it will be moved to the down, and next element will be placed to the above the last element. So likewise the elements will be inserted one by one from the top of the stack only. So similarly the deletion also happens from the top of the stack only. Okay. You can't able to remove the element from the bottom of the stack. Yes. So generally here the insertion deletion has been named as the push and pop. The push means insertion and pop means removing the element of the stack. Here the simple algorithm of the push. So here you have been inserting the element as I have said in the previous slide. So here the algorithm description has been given here. So the insertion happens from the top of the stack. Okay. So it will check the maximum size of the elements. In case if the size is overflow, it will be assigned as a stack overflow here. Otherwise the element will get inserted. Okay. So whatever the insertion or deletion, it happens at the only one end of the stack. Yes. So already the elements has been consigned with the 3 elements. So you are going to insert the D element at the top of the stack. You are going to push it and that it will be placed at the top of the stack. And you want to remove any of the element here. So the removing the element also it happens at the only at the top of the stack, as I have said earlier. So it will check the stack. So it will be remove the one by one element here. Yes. So this is the display of the stack here. Suppose if you want to place the text, suppose in case if you want to place the strings, which is like a reverse, I have been given the string here reverse. Okay. So the R will be placed at the end of the stack only. It will not place at the top of the stack. Okay. From the with the support of top of the stack, the R will be placed at the end of the stack. Similarly, the E will be placed over the R, V will be placed after E. So likewise the elements will be placed from the below of the stack till it will be reaches at the top. Okay. So this the reversing a string will be placed at the like this wise. Here the simple application of a stack is a reversing a string. So to reverse a string, the characters of a string will be pushed onto the stack one by one as a string is read from left to right. Yes. Once all the characters of a string are pushed onto the stack, they are popped one by one. Since the character last pushed in comes out first, the subsequent pop operation results in the reversal of the string. Okay. So this is the example which has been discussed in a previous one. So as I have said, so the string reverse I want to place it on the stack, the R will be placed at the end, E will be placed above the R. Okay. So likewise the details or the string will be placed in the stack. And next we will be move on to the queue. The queue is a very important data structure next to the concept of stack. Okay. So it focuses on the FIFO concept, first in first out. So this concept of queue, which is similar to the how we have been framing the line in a real time applications. So the front person will be moves out, only thing that the last person will be get into the line, right. The same concept here. The queue, the insertion of queue is being called as a NQ. Okay. So insertion of the queue will always happens at the back side. Students, please make note of it. The rear position means the last position. So here the end of the queue. Okay. So the rear means last. So in the last only insertion will happens. So deletion will be happens at the in the front of the queue. Okay. So the removing an item from the queue has been called as a deletion or DQ. So which has been done at the other end of the queue has been called as a front. Okay. Just remember the point, DQ means front and NQ means rear side. Okay. Rear means back. Okay. So whatever the concept you have been studying, please make note of the hints. Okay. So it will be the better one to remember the each and every concept in a betterment way. Yeah. Yes. We will be move on to the data abstraction. So data abstraction, it makes you to think what you can do to do a collection of data independently of how you do it. And moreover, it allows you to develop each data structure in a relative isolation from the rest of the solution. So this is a simple algorithm of the queue insert and queue deletion algorithm. So it will check the queue. So whether the queue is overflow, in case of queue overflow, what will happen? So it will print the as a queue overflow, otherwise the insertion will be happens at the rear side. If you want to, so here in queue deletion, if you want to remove an element, it will check the queue and the element will get removed, okay, from the front side. And next move on to the concept of the list. So what is a list? So list we have been assigned with the conjunction of data and address. So both the conjunction of data and address has been called as a node. Okay. So here the list is a order of the set of data. It is often used to store the objects which can be processed sequentially, and then main objective of list is used to create a queue. Okay. So, here the node 10, here it will be point to the next node 20. Okay. Then this 10 it will be carry the address of the next node, the node 10 it will carry the address of the next node 20. Then 20 it will carry the address of the next node 30. Okay. So, similarly the list will be followed with the direction. Here the directed will be only one way. So, this has been called as a single linked list here. And moreover, the list can be defined as a collection of the variable number of data items. So, lists are the most commonly used non-primitive data structures here. And here the types of linked list has been consigned with the single linked list, double linked list and circular linked list. So, here the single linked list has been directed, which has been contains the, here each node contains only one link which points to the subsequent node in the list, which means, so here one node it been directed to the next node. So, here direction has been given in only one way. So, it has been called as a single linked list. Here the double linked list means it may call it as a two-way linked list. Okay, either it can move in either direction, that is either from left to right or right to left. Whereas circular linked list, here the link field of the last node it will not be the null. So, previously there will be a single, in case of single and double there will be the null node will be there, whereas in circular there will not be last node, because here the last node will be points to the header node, since it has been circular linked list here. So, the purpose of using the circular linked list is it will hold the data individual objects which have been, okay. So, it will hold the data individual objects, and moreover it is often used nodes for the insertion and deletion to be happen in an efficient way in order to implement the stack, queue and other abstract data types here. Yes. In the application of linked list in a computer science, what is the role of a linked list, using linked list in a computer science to implement the stack and queue and moreover implementation of graphs? For the graphs, the adjacency list representation of graph is a most popular, which use the linked list to store the adjacency vertices, whereas the dynamic memory allocation is being used to, which is being used the linked list of the free blocks. And whereas in a real time applications there will be the previous button and next button will be used to move the images, or in case we have been used the previous and next page in the web browser, we can access the previous and next URL search in the web browser by pressing the back and next button. Okay. And moreover in musical player also we have been using the concept of linked list by in order to switch over the song from previous and next. Okay. So, these are the concept we have been using the linked list in a real time applications, wherein in basic operations being followed as a traversal, insertion, deletion, searching, updating, sorting and merging. So, what is the case of traversal means? In order to traverse all the nodes from one after another, inserting means how you have been adding the node at the given position, deletion, so to delete the node, searching to search the elements by value, updating to update the node and sorting to arrange the nodes in the linked list in a specified order, and moreover the merging, how the merging happens. The merging happens by assigning the two linked lists into one. Here the insertion has been happens at the any point, either at the beginning or at the end or at the given node or at the middle. Okay. So, that means the insertion may happen. So, if you have been inserting the new node, the header node position will be assigned to the new node. Okay. Then the new node will be pointed to the next forthcoming nodes. Okay. And next if you want to insert will be happen at the last node. That means the null position will be moved to the new node will be insertion happens at the new node. Okay. So, here therefore, the insertion may have also happens at the middle of the linked list. Yes, the new node can be inserted, only thing you want to define the position where to be placed, and new node will be placed at the middle of the linked list also. Okay. So, the case we need to remember while being assigning the linked list node deletion. So, first need to find the previous node of the node to be deleted and change the next pointer of the previous node and find the free memory of the deleted node. In the deletion, there is a special case in which the first node to be deleted In this, we need to update the head of the linked list. Okay, so the deletion also happens the same. We want to find which node to be deleted, so you have to change the position of the node and specifically that node will get deleted. And next we will be move on to the arrays concept. So array is a very important concept in a data structure because it focuses on the concept of the as being collection of items, so homogeneous data items which is used to store in a contiguous memory location. Because so if you want to store the number, you want to the array being assigned with the int, okay, so only the numbers can be assigned. If you want to store the characters, so only the specific type of characters only will be allowed. So in the int you can't able to store char or float elements, yes. So these are the constraints which need to be followed while assigning the array data structure. And moreover, each and every array index has been assigned with a 0 number addressing. If you want to insert an element in the memory location, it will always assign the index, okay. So every element has been assigned with the index, and first it starts with a 0 number addressing, okay. So next we will be see about how to index array. This is a very important. So the step 1, the indexing of array starts with a 0 based numbering, and step 2, if you want to access an element, you must define the size of the array. All the space should be kept reserved that moment. Suppose if you want to insert, and this is a slide which has been discussed about the syntax. So syntax, when you have been discussing each and every concept, the syntax is a very important. Definition, first of all you want to define the definition, what is the concept which has been defined to, and next you want to have the syntax, and next you have to give the brief about the example along with the example. Suppose if I want to store the only one element, yes, so the element can be stored, and the empty space will be, remaining space will be kept reserved for storing the elements for the future assignments. Suppose you have been stored all the elements, you want to insert the new element. So yes, already the placed elements, what will happen? It will move the position from the right, okay. So left to right, it will be move the positions from the, it will be located to the right side, okay, so that the element will be get inserted at the 0 index, yes. And next, suppose you have been already kept a reserved space, only the 5 elements can be able to store their index value, where you want to store the only the next in value, that means the 5th value you want to store. Now what will happen? So here, if you want to store the 6th value, what will happen? So the places will not be there, so it will be, you can't able to store the value. So whatever the space, empty space is there, you can be able to store the value, yes. For such a case, you want to expand the space, you want to expand the empty space, so that the maximum number of values you can able to store it in a array data structure, yes. And next is a very important concept. Here you can't able to delete the element, okay. Deletion of element and leave the space empty will not be allowed in a array data structure. And for such a case, if you want anything, you want to delete the element, you want to move the element from the previous to the place from the first, okay. So you should move the elements that comes from the element that you want to delete it from the so that you can't so that you want to delete the one index the left, okay. So you want to position move the left hand side, okay. So the previous element should move the position to the left hand side, so that the certain element will get deleted, okay. So here this is a very important. So you can't able to delete the element directly, okay. The empty space will not be allowed. And the 3 criteria which need to find the element in array. If you know where it is located, you can use the index. If you don't know where it is located, your data is sorted, and you can use the algorithms to optimize the search, that is you can use the binary search concept. If you don't know where it is located and where your data is being sorted, then you need to find search through each and every element in array and check if the current element is a element that you are looking for, which is like this, yes. So you want to search where you are looking for the element, whether you are looking for which element. Okay, so each and every element will get searched and you can find the exact element that you are looking for. Array generally the extremely useful data structures that store the elements of the same data type. The type of elements and size of array is fixed and defined where you create it, and moreover the memory allocated immediately after the array is created and it's empty until you've been assigned the values. So their elements are located in a contiguous memory location, so it can be accessed efficiently. So this is how these are the summary of the array representation, and moreover the indices has been start with a 0 and not like 1. Okay. So you have to remember these are the very important points while being briefing it in an exam. And basic operations of array 2 is being followed as a traverse, insertion, deletion and search by value and update it. And next we will be move on to the concept of tree. So here the tree is been comes under the category of the non-linear data structure. Here the elements will not be arranged in a non-sequentially, because here the parent node will be assigned as a top of the place, whereas followed to that it will be classified with the 2 child nodes, and child nodes will be again they will be turned as a parent and will be followed by the another child nodes D and E, so on. Okay. Then skewed binary tree, either the tree representation has been either on the right hand side or left hand side, the one side. Okay. So complete binary tree is being focused with a parent node, will be followed classified with the child nodes. That child node will be focused as a parent node. Again the being sub classifications will be move on. Yes. So here each spot in the tree has been called as a node. It holds an item of the data along with the left pointer and then right pointer. And what is the representation of the tree? Binary tree is also commonly used data structure. It has been organized in the form of upside down tree. And moreover the queue also, for some applications the queue is the best data structures to use, whereas the programmers choose from among many data structures based on how the data will be used by the program. And next concept is a graph. So the presentation of graph has been assigned as a mathematical. It has been considered as a non-linear data structures which have been capable of many kinds of physical structures. It has been found many applications in our diverse fields like geography, chemistry and then engineering sciences. Here the representation of the elements in the circle has been called as a vertices, whereas the connecting the two vertices has been called as a edges. And generally the graph has been concerned with the two types. One is directed graph, another is a undirected graph. The directed graph has been concerned with the directed points, whereas the undirected there will not be any direct position will be concerned, because here only the vertices being connected with all the edges without any arrowheads.